Are you addicted to checking your phone? Or do you wonder why, despite of knowing what a cheesy pizza slice can do to your body, you're still tempted to have it? That too when you're kind of full. It's because of something happening inside your brain that goes by the name dopamine. And it's controlling way more of your daily life than you realize. Let's take back the control today. Dopamine is what makes you feel excited about things you enjoy, like getting a like on your Instagram post or a chance to eat your favorite ice cream. The downside is, too much of it can keep you hooked on habits that aren't so great for you. We'll learn today how dopamine works, how it shapes our choices, and what we can do about it. We'll understand why our brain chases quick rewards. Also, how can we start making better decisions every day? Let us start by talking about dopamine. You must have heard of it before, but are you sure what exactly is it? If you own pets, you must have given them rewards or treats when they do something as per your command. Our brain does something similar with us. It gives us a little reward whenever we do something that feels enjoyable. The reward comes in the form of dopamine. It's the thing that makes us want to do it again and again. To define it properly, dopamine is a chemical that your brain releases when you experience something positive. It's like when you get a burst of excitement or joy. That's dopamine doing its job, making you feel happy or accomplished. Well, think of dopamine as your brain's feel-good chemical. But dopamine doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's actually part of your brain's reward system. When you do something that your brain thinks is worth repeating, dopamine gets released. It's your brain's way of saying, hey, that was fun, let's do that again. So what's wrong with it? Well, there is more to it than just feeling good. Dopamine makes you want to keep seeking that reward or pleasure over and over again. And here is where it gets even more interesting. We start seeking pleasure in doing it repeatedly. And this is how habits form, both good and bad. When our brain gets used to a certain thing making us feel good, it starts to expect that dopamine hit. That's why you might find yourself checking your phone without even thinking about it, or grabbing snacks when you're not hungry. Your brain is craving that little burst of feel-good energy. We can get hooked onto the things that give us instant satisfaction. For example, think of an episode of your favorite sitcom. You watch one episode and then immediately jump to the next one. Or one round of Candy Crush is immediately followed by 3 more rounds. The companies know about it, and they deliberately ensure that they are making stuff that makes you come back for more. Remember the famous line, "No one can have just one"? We are training our brain to look for those short bursts of pleasure instead of focusing on long-term goals. Every habit you have follows the same simple pattern, whether it's good, like brushing your teeth, or bad, like overspending. This is called the habit loop. It has 3 parts: cue, routine, and reward. The cue is what triggers the habit. It's something that happens in your environment or inside your brain that makes you want to start the habit. For example, getting a notification on your phone could be a cue. The routine is the actual habit, the action you take in response to the cue. In our phone example, the routine would be picking your phone and checking the notification. The reward is that part your brain really cares about. This is when dopamine gets released, and you feel that little hit of pleasure. In our example, you see an Insta reel forward in your friends group, and you are immediately tempted to give it a click. And once you switch to it, the rest is history. This loop repeats over and over until it becomes automatic. Every time, your brain releases dopamine. It happens so much that you don't even think about it anymore. You just do it. You get so addicted to it that even if you are in the middle of something important, your brain will push you to check your phone because it remembers the reward from last time. Dopamine isn't picky. It doesn't care if the habit is good for you or not. It just wants that reward. So, dopamine gives you that high. But we all know, what goes up must come down. After that big spike in dopamine, there is usually a dip. And that's when you start feeling low, tired, or even kind of empty. This is what we call the dopamine roller coaster. One moment you're on top of the world, enjoying the high, and the next you are crashing, left wanting more. And since now your brain knows what gave you that high, it pushes you to crave to do it again. Let's understand this with an example. Say you put a post about your recent holiday trip on Facebook, and you get some likes to it. You feel awesome. After a while, the buzz wears off. But you are checking your post repeatedly, looking for more likes, more comments, anything that makes you feel the same again. The downside of relying too much on these instant pleasures is that instead of feeling satisfied, you end up stuck in a loop, always chasing the next high, but never really feeling content. The behavior gradually becomes an addiction, even before you realize. So you have hit rock bottom now, and now you must be wondering, how do I stop this? I need to take control of my habits before they take control of me. But how? Don't worry, it's totally possible. And I'm about to show you 3 proven tips. First up, the dopamine detox. Understand it as resetting your brain. It does sound fancy, but on the contrary, it's actually pretty simple. The idea is to take a break from activities that give you those quick, easy dopamine hits. Things like social media, junk food, video games. By stepping away from these activities for a little while, you give your brain a chance to reset. Think of it like hitting the pause button. Your brain has gotten used to getting a lot of dopamine from easy sources, and by cutting those out for a bit, you are teaching it to stop relying on them. It's kind of like retraining your brain to appreciate things that don't give you instant rewards. But how do you actually manage your dopamine on a daily basis? This is where the second tip comes in. Start shifting your focus from quick dopamine hits to long-term rewards. More fancy words, I know. What does it really mean? Instead of constantly checking your phone or eating a bag of chips, focus on activities that don't give you instant pleasure but pay off in the long run. Learn a new skill, start playing guitar, start exercising. If you already exercise, look for new variations. Practice a hobby you always thought of doing. It might not be easy and it may not feel as exciting in the moment, but the satisfaction you get from sticking with something and improving over time gives your brain a much healthier dose of dopamine. Let's say you take up learning a new language. At first, it's hard and maybe even frustrating. But as you get better, you start to feel proud of your progress. That's dopamine working for you, but in a way that's building a stronger and healthier habit. Third tip, break the cycle. How do we do that? Let's try it with the same phone use case. Turn off notifications. Notifications are like little dopamine traps. Every time your phone buzzes, your brain gets a small dopamine hit, pulling you into the cycle of checking your phone over and over. Try turning off non-essential notifications for a day and see how you feel much more focused and in control. Even next level, install an app that locks your phone for a set amount of time. It kind of forces you to break that cycle. Shouldn't mean though that you keep an eye on the clock for the lock to be released. Go for a walk. Sometimes all it takes to reset your brain is stepping away from the source of instant gratification. Going for a walk clears your mind. It gives you a natural dopamine boost from the movement without the crash you get from things like junk food. Then, practice mindfulness and meditation. I know I say it in most of my videos. That's the power of mindfulness. It's all about being present in the moment and not getting swept up in our impulses. Meditation can help us slow down, control our urges, and be more aware of when we are seeking quick dopamine hits. Just a few minutes a day can make a big difference in how we respond to cravings and distractions. Remember, it's all about balance. The more you can break the cycle of chasing quick dopamine hits, the more you will be in control of your habits and also your life. So now you know just how much dopamine shapes your habits and everyday decisions. It's all about understanding how your brain works and taking control of those dopamine-driven behaviors. Small changes can make a big difference. So take charge of your habits starting today and let me know in comments what is that one habit you would like to change first. I hope you found this video helpful. We put in a lot of effort to bring you valuable content, and all I ask in return is for you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. Until next time, take care of your mind and your body.